Hello folks and welcome to another Wise Gamer video. Today I'm going to be going over the basics of Ashran, okay? The new PvP battle system that they implemented in the new Warlords of Draenor for World of Warcraft. I know there's a lot of players still asking about this place and how it actually works, so I like to clarify it and kind of explain what I've seen and between the research that I've done so that it paints a clearer picture for all of us. Okay, so basically, Ashran, when you first come into Ashran, that's how you're going to get the queue. Okay, so for both factions, we got up north, we have Warspear, which is the Horde faction, and we have Storm Shield down below in the south, which is the Alliance faction. I do know a little more about the Alliance side because that's what I've been playing since this came out. Okay, but I'm sure it works for both. So I'm sure this guide can help you whether you're playing Horde or Alliance. I'm going to try to cover both sides the best I can. Okay, so say we're in Storm Shield. We're an Alliance player. Okay, basically what you want to do to get in here is you want to ride up to this bridge right here, this first little bridge. It doesn't even look like a bridge, actually. It's just past the target dummies. They're on the right over here. And just past it, if you're going to cross like this swampy looking brook, okay? Just past that, you should get the queue to pop up. Just keep riding up until it pops up. It's going to pop up. And then it's going to portal you back out of there until you actually get the queue where you could accept it. Okay, now when you get the queue, just like any other queue in the game, it's going to be up on your mini-map inside the game, attached to your mini-map. There's not going to be a timer on it. There is not a timer at all for Ashran. That's why the queue system sucks. Okay? But the queue system is about the only downside of this place. Once you understand this place and you understand how easy you could cap in here and stuff, Ashran's a really fantastic resource for PvP in this game. If you don't have RBG teams and arena partners and stuff like that, you could get everything done by just doing Ashran as far as getting your cap done per week. Okay? So, these are the key points of the map for the main battle. Okay? We're going to break down the video, and the second part's going to be on side events too. Okay? But for this part, it's going to be about the main battle, which is the main vein that runs in the center of the whole map, not the sides. Okay? So now, once you get the queue to pop, you could be anywhere in the game. You could even be in another random BG and still be in both queues. And once Ashran queue pops, I recommend taking it over any other queue in the game because you might not be able to get it again for the rest of the day. Okay, so once you get that to pop, you could just simply click OK, and it's going to warp you right into Ashran at the starting zone. Okay, now if you're in Storm Shield or Warspear, and you're still in those two towns and you get the queue to pop, you still got to ride manually up the path into Ashran to enter it. Okay? Now, these are the main points here of the map for the main battle. Crossroad being the start of the battle. If you come in at the very start of the battle, this is where everybody's going to be, is at Crossroads. And then the objective is whether you're playing Alliance or Horde. Horde wants to push everybody down south into Storm Shield. And the Alliance wants to push everybody from the Crossroads north into Warspear. Inside of each camp of Warspear and Storm Shield is an elite boss. It's the main boss of each faction. Okay, now this is Grand Marshal. Let me see here, Grand Marshal Trimblade. Okay, this is the Alliance Elite Master. This is what the Horde wants. This is the person that the Horde wants to try to kill to win this battle. Okay, and that's what she looks like right there. And here's her marks right down here with the coordinates of about where she is located as far as that goes. And for the Alliance, this is the Horde Elite boss. Okay? High Warlord Valrath, I believe is how you pronounce it. Okay, and he's located at these marks, and this is what he looks like. Okay, so the objective for the Alliance is this is the guy that they want to kill. And then we have what we call a captains in this game, and each faction has their captains. Okay, now how the captains work is basically how you summon them is if you are in the lead. Say if the Alliance is up at the Horde camp, that means they're in the lead at the moment because they're already at the camp, which means they killed most of their resources to get there, or vice versa if the Horde's down at the Alliance camp. Now, to summon a captain, if I understand, this is how it works. If we already got the push on the Horde, say, if the Alliance already has the push on the Horde, we need to kill 1,000 people or players or NPCs and all that, and it will summon a captain. But yet the team that's already behind, okay, and they're not doing so well, they only need to kill 50. And that's how you summon captains. Now, if you don't do that, they got this item called the Captain's Whistle. Okay, I never gotten this myself yet, but it summons a captain in the Road of Glory. Okay, and it could be used every 1 hour. It's got a cooldown or something of 1 hour. Okay, so that's what the captains do. Besides that, a lot of people don't really waste time with the NPCs if they don't have to. I know the NPCs are a pain in the butt, especially on a melee guy, because they always get in our way of fighting the actual real players or getting on the actual main boss. Okay? So a lot of people don't waste time with the NPCs because they claim that they respawn back almost instantly and things like that. So, anything that doesn't take a resource for them to get summoned can be instantly almost rezzed back into the game. The Guardians. Each faction has their own Guardian. The Alliance Guardian is Fangraal. Okay? He looks like a big tree dude. And the best way I could sum these guys up is they remind me of the AV elements that we used to summon back in the day when they came out with AV. We don't do it as much anymore. And those big elements used to come out and they used to assist us in battle. Well, that's what these guys do. And how you get these guys is this is where your artifacts come in. Okay? The artifacts, once you build up a certain amount of them, I think it's something like 3,000 or 5,000 or something like that. Each player, when they got artifacts, it's good for them to go back and hand it in. And then once they hand it enough, this guy is going to spawn and come to the battle and help us. Okay? And this is the guy that helps the Horde side. His name is called Kronos. Okay, and he's a much meaner looking dude than the big tree dude that the Alliance have, and things like that. Now these guys do go up in health and power the longer that they live. Okay, and things like I don't know if they go up in health, but I know they go up in power. Okay, the longer that they live. All right, now it doesn't take long for these guys to drop once the actual players all gang up on one of them. Okay, they are your biggest means of probably doing the most damage in a large group and stuff like that, much more than what we could do as players, um, and things like that. Now, this is why the artifacts is really important. Okay, and if you notice, a lot of people will leave when they got a certain amount of artifacts, and they'll go back to the main hub of Ashran without leaving Ashran, because then you're going to leave the queue and get kicked out, right? They're going to ride back, and each faction has a vendor set up where you could hand in these artifacts, and that's what that does. Once you accumulate enough artifacts, like I said earlier, then that's when these guys are going to come out and help you, okay, and things like that. So that's all important stuff you want to do. Now, the reason why you want to keep going back and handing them in is because when you die, you lose like half of them. I think even more than half. But I read somewhere that you lose half. Okay, but it seems like I lose a lot more than half. So just to be on the safe side, when you're feeling good, you feel like you can get away and stuff like that, and you got some artifacts, go and hand those suckers in. Okay. All right, so now we got our guardians out there. Now we have our captains out there. Everybody's fighting. People are dying. People are having a good time. Okay, so now we got the ball rolling. Everything's good. Now, the main objective, again, is to get on that main boss that's inside of each camp, okay, or new zone or whatever, right? Of War Spear and Storm Shield, okay? When you join the group and you get in there and you tag the guy, like I said earlier, that's going to make you acceptable now of getting the full conquest points or a possible drop too. On top of that, now I want to make sure that this is really important. Okay, the bridge. Each town has the bridge, the bottleneck we call it. Okay, there's the one for Warspear, and here's the one for the Alliance, Storm Shield. Okay. If you're not a tank, and you're not tanking these guys for the group, okay, these guys start off in the back somewhere. And it's a job to fight all the Horde, plus the NPCs that they have, all the elite gods. And the object is to try to get this boss, taunt him, get the aggro if you're a tank, with the group, and try to pull him back as far as you can and stopping right about there. So if you're Alliance and you're fighting the Horde, you want to stop right around there. You don't want to go any farther south. Once you get on the bridge, he's going to reset. Okay, just like an AV, when you pull those guys outside of the rooms that they're in, those main bosses, they reset. And their health comes back and everything. He's gonna start off back at his original spawn point, which is a lot of work now to pull him back down to where he originally was. He's going to be a lot easier to kill over here because you don't have to work your way all the way in the back here through all those players and NPCs and stuff that's trying to kill you. Okay? So again, do not pull this guy on the bridge. If you're a mage, if you're a warlock or whatever, and you happen to pull aggro and he starts coming after you, die. Die in your tracks. Don't try to be a hero and get out of there. Unless if you're a warlock with a teleport somewhere down here. Teleport, it should rinse the aggro. But just to be on the safe side, I wouldn't even chance it. I would die. And I play a warlock too in here, so I haven't tried it yet, but, you know, whatever. It's nothing to res and then come back. And that's basically the basics of winning this battle. Okay, just follow the group. Make sure you're in the right group. And you're going to understand why in the next segment of the video. Okay? Down that boss. Keep going back in. Hand it in your fragments. You know, wherever the vendors are for War Spear. Same with Storm Shield. Keep handing in those fragments when you get like 25, 50 of them or whatnot. Because you're probably going to die eventually, and then you're going to lose them. Okay? And that, again, is going to summon your Guardians and other things in the game that helps you. Whoever ends up winning, you're going to know it. It's going to flash in your chat panel, and it's going to say that you got the conquest, 350 conquest, like 500 or something honor, and the box is going to give, they're going to give you a box. And the box has a 0.8% again of dropping a conquest piece. I've never gotten one yet, but I know friends that have, and I'm particularly not a fan of that because I don't like drops in PvP. It throws the balance of PvP way out the window. especially if you're on a class that's not doing so good right now. Like they claim warriors aren't that great to solo and stuff like that compared to paladins and all that because of self heals that we're lacking. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know that you that's what you are that you know what's going on here so you don't get into that bottleneck or get into a situation that's going to be really ugly for you. But again, you die, you res, you come back. And broken bones and stuff like that will still count even if you die. As long as you get some hits on some people, you're still going to get credibility towards things like that in this battle zone. The main battle you can only do once per day. Okay. Now I was thinking that was it for me for the whole place. So I was coming in here with my tunes, getting 350 conquest and leaving and things like that. But next we're going to get into the side events. So stay tuned for that. Okay. See if I could zoom this out a little bit. Okay. This is the side events. Okay. And it also, well, this map actually shows the main vein for the main battle too, but it's showing you all the side events off to the side of the map. Okay. These are continuous. These don't have a daily limit. Okay. So if you need to make more conquest points to get your full cap, and before I forget, Ashran is very important in getting your PvP cap now each week. It used to be RBGs and MOP, but they changed that in WOD. Okay, you don't need to do RBGs now to get your full cap. Even though they still help with getting conquest points, I still think RBGs is some of your best means of getting conquest points because it's the only thing in the game that you actually get conquest points for losing. As long as you don't lose by a landslide. Like WSG, if you go in there and you lose by 3, well, you're not going to get nothing. But if you go in there and it's like 1-1 and stuff like that, you're going to get a good chunk of conquest points, probably over 100. But it depends. Okay? So RBGs is still a great means of getting conquest in the game. And for a win, you get 400. I think it's still 400, or they dropped that to 352. I'm not sure, but I think it's 400 still. Okay? And the cool thing about RBGs is those boxes have more conquest chance of getting a conquest piece. But again, it's throwing the whole PvP thing out the window. Now, the events. Once you do the main battle and you're done with that, you got your 350 conquests, the group that you're in may say, okay, we all got it. If they still want to continue on playing in here, they may say, okay, we're going to go and do some side events now. So now you could just stay in that team and you're good to go. If they don't give you an indication like that, the best thing to do is leave that group, go back into general chat, and now put in something like, please invite to side event group. Okay? That group that picks you up is in there to do the side events. That's what they're doing. So if you're not even sure on what to do doing the side events, you don't have to worry too much. Because all you got to do is follow the rest of the group, just kill what they're killing, and you're good to go. You're going to get the points. Okay? Now, for side events, it's anywhere from 125 conquest to 250 per downing each boss or winning each event. The only one I know that's not really a boss fight is the amphitheater right here, which we call the racetrack. Okay, and that's basically just the Alliance and the Horde. And I actually feel bad a lot of times when I go in here because I see the Horde guy in there with hardly no Horde, but the Alliance is all over the Alliance guy. So, yeah, I don't see a lot going on with the Horde in here, and I don't know why. But yet I do see a lot of Horde players, you know. But anyways, basically, you just hug the guy that's got the big cot or whatever, it's an oval track, and your job is to just protect him, stay in the circle. You're going to see a big circle on the ground where he moves, right? And the opposite faction is going to probably try to kill him and stuff like that. And whoever ends up keeping their guy alive during the lapse, you're going to get your conquest and you're going to win that event. Okay? And then the other events are just basically, from what I saw and understand, is basically just downing a boss. Now, if the boss is already tagged by a group that's on the opposite faction, it's not going to count for you. Okay? So you're better off a lot of times either trying to kill them if there's not too many of them and try to get that boss to reset and then regain its aggro, or go on to another event or start heading off to another event that's going to be popping up soon. I don't know when the events pop up all the time, but some people are masters at this. Like, they know just where to go. Okay? And a lot of times they'll tell you, they'll say, okay, Seed of Corlock is up next. So let's start heading there. So they're going to let you know. If you get lost, your map is your best friend in Ashran. Just open up your map when you're in a group. You're going to see the dots of everybody and just head to where they are. Okay? Now, so basically, you could stay in here all day just getting your conquest. You could get your full cap. Okay? And you're just going to stay in this group however long that they last, or stay together, or you could just join another group and just pick it up from there, right? And just go from place to place where these guys spawn and where the group goes. Okay? The one that gives the most, I think, is this one right here called the Seed of Corlock. Okay? He gives 250 per win. 250 conquest, which is not too shabby. Okay? And before you know it, you're full conquest. You know? Now, some of these give a lot of artifact fragments. A lot of these events. You'll get more doing the side events because the bosses actually give them to you than you would doing the main event. The main battle sometimes. Okay? So, like, if you do Seed of Corlock, I think he gives you like 75 artifacts, just 120 or something like that, just right there. Okay? So it's advisable then to head back to your base of Ashran and hand them in again. And just keep doing that. Go back to where the group is, go on to the Brute's Rise or whatever's next, Molten Quarry, go in there, down that guy, get that conquest. Now, if you're still farming honor points you get a lot from these things. You get like 500 per place. So you could probably, if you spent like a whole day in this place, you could probably get your full honor set, no problem. Okay? Because it's continuous and there's not a daily cap in here for that. Now, you're also going to see scattered in here elite bosses. They're not as strong as the event bosses, but they're still pretty strong. If you're going in there with, say, 2-3 people, you could probably down most of them if you got some gears. Okay? Those are going to give you 500 honor points per. Okay, so it's good if you're still doing honor to probably just ride around and see where some of those elite bosses are hidden. And take them down if you're in there with a couple of friends. Let's do the math. 350 from the main battle. Plus, let's say 125 per event. There's not a times symbol on this thing, so I'm going to go 125 plus 125 plus 125, 125, 125 plus 1. Let's 25. Now I know one guy, like I said, gives you 250, but we're just going to round it off and use this. There's 1,100 conquests right there. There you can make it like an hour, depending on how well the battle's going. Now I've been in this place where one day actually, where the battle was just not it just was not getting anywhere. It was like 2 hours. Alliance wasn't winning, Horde wasn't winning. It was just ridiculous. So I just left. I got tired of it. But then there was other times I came in here, and as soon as I got the queue, their boss was already like almost dead. So I had a beeline it as fast as I could to get up there and try to get a hit on him, and stuff like that. And one of the last times I did it on my warrior, I got up there. Just as soon as I got up there, I hit him with a mortal strike, and the fight was over. And I got counted for it, 350 conquest. Okay? So it's a great means of getting your conquest points capped. Okay? My warlock has an extended cap because I started him later in the expansion. And so his is like 3,700. And I capped him in 2 days last week just doing Ashran. And I did some guild RBGs, but I think I only stayed there for one win and stuff like that. So I got most of my points just in Ashran. That's what I continue on doing each week. A little hint, try to get in there at odd times of the day. Like if you wake up really early in the morning, say 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and stuff like that, try to queue up for Ashran. If you try to go in here at peak times, forget it. I mean, I know people that do. I don't really know what that queue goes by. But I think the longer players stay in there, it's going to make it more difficult for newer players to get back in there, to get in there. So my advice is if you're capped, don't hog it on other people. Have the consideration of probably leaving now because you're capped. Ashran treated you well. Now it's time to have Ashran treat somebody else well. Because they want to get their caps too. And that's basically what I do. Some people will milk this place and try to go for bones all day. Bones are not that great. Yeah, you get a couple of conquests per week by them and stuff like that, but they're not worth hogging this place. And then that troll killing thing or whatever they call it. That thing, all it is an achievement, and things like that. Maybe it opens up more stuff later on. I don't know, but I'm not just going to stay in here just to try killing these players just to get that done, So I basically use this as my means of conquest. It's kind of like when people say, "Oh, it's kind of like being a hunter and you go out there and shoot your game, but you don't eat it." I don't know. So, anyways, that's a piece of advice I wanted to give out there too. Again, it is cross faction. I did make some edit videos, so I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier. This is cross faction, so you are always going to have plenty of players queuing up for this place. Some of the big PvP servers alone, like Doc Spare and um, Tichondrius and all them could probably fill this place with just their server alone because it used to be like 50 versus 50 is what it used to hold. So I'm not sure what it is now. It could still be the same. I'm not really 100% sure. But anyways, guys, that's my main wrap up of playing Ashran. If you go by these steps that I showed you, you should be leaving here with a big smile on your face and a nice piece of conquest at the end of the day. So you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down below. I'm still learning this place myself. And you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks again for stopping by. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.